So welcome back. I hope you enjoyed part one of this series. In today's video, we're going to be making the jacket that goes with the skirt that I made in the previous video. So if you haven't checked that one out, go check that one and then come back to this one. In this video, we will get to see the final result of both pieces together. So let's get started on our jacket. So you should have stay stitch up and along the dark lines for your front and under collar pieces. So now we're going to stitch the back seams together. So this is the back, and with right side to right side, I'm going to stitch that together. And if you notice the tape, it's because I couldn't tell what was the right side or the wrong side for this fabric, so I needed some tape so I can mark which one was the wrong side. Okay, I'm gonna take it to the sewing machine and stitch. Okay, now you have your back piece sewn and you pressed it. Then you're gonna take your pocket pieces of the main fabric that you have and you wanna line it up, the notches up. Let's find it first. Okay. We're gonna lay that to the side. So we're gonna take the left and right under collar pieces, and I used the African print for my lining. So with the right sides together, you're gonna match that up like you did the back side. So you should have sewn the piece to your lining piece. So this will be the front for the pocket. So you're gonna understitch. So all that means is you're gonna press towards the pocket, and then you're gonna stitch very close to this line. So we're gonna do that for both sides. And make sure you sew on the lining. So with right sides together, we're going to take the front piece and the back piece. Match up the notches. And you want to pin around. So you're going to stop, should have a dot. You're going to stop there and leave an opening for your hand. We're going to go and stitch around. Stop at the dot, turn it, and go around. Now that we have completed the pocket, it should look like this. So you want to make sure you give it a good press. So now we're going to move on to the sleeve. We have the front and back pieces, and we're going to pin those together at the side. And the sleeves came out way too big. The jacket did as well. I'm not sure what happened. But if I sew this again, I would definitely go down a size. The pattern did say it had 6.5 E's. So okay, so now you should have your arm seams stitched on both sides, and then if you can see the fold line here, not sure, but we're gonna fold it along the fold line. My fold line is right there. And then you'll press it, and then you're gonna fold it in 1/4 and then stitch along this line right here to hem your sleeve. So you want to do that to both sleeves. Okay, so now that you have the front and back sewn together at the sides, you want to take your sleeves, match up the seam and your notches. So now that we have it all pinned, we're going to stitch the armhole from here, stop at the small dart and back stitch, and then stitch again within the seam. Okay, so now that we have attached our sleeves, we're going to take the front extension pieces and we're going to match up the notches. And we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch along this line. Okay, now that we have that stitch, what you're going to do is find that dot and you want to match it up to your shoulder seam. So this is the bag, this is my shoulder. So the dot to the shoulder seam. And you should have had a spot in here for your darts. So if you can see mine, you know how we made a couple of darts before. Gonna match up the darts. And my pins. And match up the seams, center seams. So you want to stitch from the center back to the dart and then the center back to the dart on the other side. Okay, so now you have this trim together. You've made your darts and then you're going to you're going to clip just a little bit around the curves and such. And then we're going to set this to the side for a second. Get your front facing pieces. So we're going to stitch it right here, and then we're also going to stitch in these stitching lines that we've made. Should have them on both of your pieces. Okay, and so now we have them stitched together. We did our ease stitching. We did our stitching on the line. And now you want to clip to the dot right here. So don't go through the stitching, but get very, very close. Okay, that's as far as I'm going. I don't want to test my luck. That was a pretty good cut right there. Okay. We're gonna do the back facing, and basically we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna stitch along these stitching lines and then stitch 5/8 all around. So now you've done your stitching lines, and then you've also done the 5/8 stitch. You want to just stitch along the curve here. So now you want to take your back facing and front facing together, match up the notches, and we're going to pin all around. You want to go and you want to stitch around here all the way to here. So now that we have the back and the front facing sewn together, we're going to take the jacket piece with right side up and pin the facing pieces. So match up our center seam, match up the notches, and pin. So we're gonna go sew. And now that you have it sewn together, it should look like this. So you should have a notch right there, but I made a marking. So what you want to do for this step is you want to understitch from that point down to the lining, and then up around the collar piece you want to interstitch on the main fabric. Just pay attention to step 27 because this is where I almost threw in the towel. So right here, like I said, we're going to understitch, and we're going to understitch on the line, the facing fabric. So my seam allowance is going towards the facing. And then for this piece, I'm going to do it on the main fabric. So my seam allowance, I'm stitching very close, but on the main fabric. Okay, so that's all done. We should have given it a good press. And the next thing to do, pull your back facing to the back. And then you understitch
at the center seams across. And then after you have it sewn, you'll flip your back facing back to the inside. So the last couple of steps are to hand stitch the hem of the garment, apply your button, then you'll be done. I had a great time sewing it. It doesn't look exactly like what my grandmother did, but I think it's pretty close. She was definitely my inspiration for it. So let me know how you think it came out, and I will definitely probably recreate some of my other childhood clothes as well.